Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to be working on is we're going to be learning about a new type of pronoun called a subject pronoun. Now, before we start out with subject pronoun, let's review what pronouns actually do. When we're talking about pronouns, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about nouns that are replaced by words like I, me, you, he, she, him, her, they, you for meaning more than one person, you, it, we, and others like that. Those are pronouns, and we've learned about those already. So, what subject pronouns do, let's go back to subject pronouns. Subject pronouns take the subject of a sentence. They take the place of the subject of the sentence. Here are your examples of your subject pronouns. You have the subject I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Those are examples of subject pronouns, and those are what we're going to be looking at today. All right? So now, let's take a look at our directions at the top. It tells us to read the sentences. Choose the correct pronoun in the parentheses. Remember, our parentheses, ladies and gentlemen, are these right here. Those are our parentheses in there. So we have to figure out which one of those pronouns makes the most sense to correct or complete each sentence. Then we're going to write the pronoun. So now, let us go ahead and read. Listen along as I read number 1. My brother, sister, and we have the word the blank, visited our aunt's farm this summer. So I have to figure out which one of these words is going to sound the best. Sometimes what I can do is I can go ahead and put the actual word in and let's not see which one sounds better. Let's start with the word me. We're going to look at the word me. My brother, sister, and me visited our aunt's farm this summer. We could try me, and I don't think that sounds very good, so I'm going to go ahead and try the word I. My brother, sister, and I visited our aunt's farm this summer. I think that sounds pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the word I. And I want you to go ahead and do the same thing. I'll wait for just a few seconds. If you need to pause it and put the letter in, that's fine, but I'm going to wait a few seconds. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Now I want you to notice the position of our pronoun in number 2. Notice how it's at the very beginning of the sentence. You're going to find that a lot of subject pronouns are at the beginning of a sentence. Again, subject pronouns, they're at the beginning of a sentence because, if you remember, subjects are usually at the beginning of a sentence. So number 2, again, we don't know what this word's going to be, so let's go ahead and read the rest of the sentence. Blank was very different from where we live. Now we have the word it or we have the word them. So just like before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just see which one sounds better. I'll start with the word it. It was very different from where we live, or the other word you could use was them was very different from where we live. I don't think it takes too much thinking to know that them is not a good sounding word to use there. So let's go ahead and use the word it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the word it. Now remember, it's at the beginning of a sentence, so I want to make sure I capitalize it. And I'm going to let you put that. I'll wait for a few seconds. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Again, notice number 3 is at the beginning of the sentence. Subject pronouns are almost always at the beginning of the sentence, or the subject. Number 3, it says, blank each had our favorite animals. So what we do is we think to ourselves, which one of these sounds the best? Us each had our favorite animals, or we each had our favorite animals. Go ahead and put in what you think the correct one is, and I'll wait for just a second. If you put the word we in there and you capitalize it because it is a capitalized word, you are correct. Because the word we sounds the best in there. All right? I'm going to try one more together. One more together. Number 4. Blank like the roosters in the yard. Again, could it be he like the roosters in the yard? Or him like the roosters in the yard? I'll give you a few seconds to put that one in. If you said the word he, you are correct. Now, before I set you off, I want you to notice something here. Let's look at all these words that we created. We had the word he, the word we, the word it, and the word I. Notice at the very beginning of the directions right here where it said these are our subject pronouns. There's our word I, there's our word he, there's our word it, and there's our word we. Notice that we are using just these pronouns up here. So later, when you're doing more pronouns, when you're doing more work down here, you'll know that we have to use the words up here. So here are my directions for the rest of this paper. You are going to go ahead and do number 5, 6, 7, and 8 for me, please. You're going to do number 5, 6, 7, and 8 for me, please. Then you're going to go ahead and check out the board to see what you're going to be doing next. I hope you found this informational and helpful, and I will talk to you soon.